Although weather conditions have stabilized and water levels are dropping, the danger presented by the heavy flooding in eastern Croatia is still very present, with 2 more villages in Slavonia being flooded today. Meanwhile, the last remaining people from the villages of Gunja and Rajevo Selo were evacuated today, and a second victim of the floods was recovered last night. 1 more person has been confirmed as missing. Meanwhile, water levels on the river Sava near Slavonski Brod are lower than they were yesterday, although the emergency services, the army and citizens today continue to try and shore up levees in Brod-Posavina County. The aid effort for the flood victims in Croatia continues. Facilities for the storage of humanitarian aid were opened in Đakovo, Slavonski Brod and Županja today. Donations are being handled through the Red Cross. Also, the government has decided to temporarily make unoccupied state-owned flats available to those who have been forced to leave their homes because of flooding. Health Minister Rajko Ostojić today reassured citizens that there was little danger of an epidemic as a result of the floods, but that infectious waterborne diseases were possible. He said that a sufficient quantity of medical supplies had been secured, that psychological help was being offered to those who had been evacuated, and that additional emergency medical crews had been made available. Meanwhile, in neighbouring Bosnia-Herzegovina, water levels in flooded areas are starting to recede, although the damage caused is enormous. Tens of thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes, and a day of mourning has been declared for those who lost their lives in the floods. And in Serbia, the situation continues to be very serious. Mandatory evacuations continued today. So far in Serbia, 30,000 people have been evacuated from their homes, almost half of them from Obrenovac. There have been 21 confirmed fatalities. On Wednesday, a 3-day period of mourning begins in Serbia. And Croatian President Ivo Josipovic announced today that he had spoken to the presidents of Slovenia, Bosnia-Herzegovina and Serbia about the need to shore up the flood defences along the whole of the river Sava so as to prevent such a catastrophe from occurring again. In other news, the trial of the 93-year-old Josip Boljkovac for war crimes allegedly committed in the town of Duga Res during 1945 came to an end today. The prosecution alleges that Boljkovac, as head of the OSNA security agency in Karlovac, was responsible for the arrest and subsequent deaths of 21 civilians. Boljkovac again today pleaded not guilty. The sentence will be handed out on Thursday morning. At a preliminary hearing in the Zagreb County Court today, the date for the so-called HEP Dioki corruption trial was set for the 2nd of July. This will be the 4th corruption trial against former Prime Minister and HDZ leader Ivo Sanader. He is accused of encouraging HEP's former CEO, Ivan Mravak, to lend 15 million kuna of HEP's money to companies belonging to his friend and owner of the Dioki Group, Robert Ježić, and to provide him with cheap electricity. Mravak was the only one to appear in court today. Former Vukovar mayor Željko Sabo has again said he will stand in the forthcoming local elections as an independent candidate. The Vukovar branch of the SDP have said they will not have their own candidate and will be supporting him. In sport, Croatia's top ice hockey player, 22-year-old Borna Rendulic, has signed a 2-year deal with the Colorado Avalanche of the NHL. Rendulic, whose career began with Zagreb's Medveščak, has been playing in the Finnish league for the last 2 years. He is the first Croatian to sign a contract with the world's top ice hockey league. Wednesday's forecast calls for mostly sunny weather with some light to moderate cloud cover. Winds inland will be mostly weak. On the coast there'll be a light breeze. In the morning a northeasterly and in the afternoon a westerly and southwesterly. Early morning temperatures of between 7 and 12 degrees Celsius inland, between 13 and 17 degrees on the coast, will give way to the day's highs of between 23 and 27 degrees.